from 175 Humboldt Street, 2 Minutes with AAC. And now your host, Joe DiPotato.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back here with you in 2016. This is 2 Minutes with AAC, and I am your host, Joe DiPotato. Very proud host, in fact. So, for those of you who might be tuning in for the very first time, this is a PSA or a VCV, very cheesy video that we put together 4 times a year with the hope that we could talk about something very topical in the construction industry. And at the end of the day, we're hoping maybe we can get you to smile, maybe entertain you a little bit too. So, today we got a really big show. We're going to be talking about mold. There's some new regulations, some new legislation about that. We got 2 very special guests that'll be coming out, not 1, but 2. And of course, I know you guys have all been looking for David Bowie, and we think he's passed away, but no, he's been working right here at AAC Contracting. He's one of our project managers. In fact, he actually is going to strap on the axe, and he's going to be our very musical guest at the end, so hope you guys can tune in for that. And then, of course, after that all is completed, Pete DeLucia likes to put together what we call our outtakes. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes just make us look funny looking. But again, thank you very much for tuning in. Before we go any further, a quick word from our sponsor.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-L-O-G-N-A.
We're back, and we don't have 1 guest. We've got 2. Please welcome to the stage little Dickie Vervalen, the master of mold, and the prince of safety, the slayer of safety, Pete DeLucia. They're coming at me from 2 angles. I don't know what to do. This is my first time. Rich, how are you, buddy?
Joe, don't jump down on our account.
What's up, buddy? All right. Thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you very much. And working the I don't know. You got someone taking your job over there, little Greggy Mance. Greg, you're doing a hell of a job, I wanted to say. It's our producer. Yeah. So, guys, in all sincerity, we got a very big topic today. Could be some confusion around it. Hopefully, we can kind of end that confusion. But we're talking about mold. I know that, Pete, I guess I'm looking at you first. When it comes to the law/regulation, can you just do a little more, I guess, some in-depth conversation about that?
Yeah, so I don't have a mic, Joe, so I'm not sure how I'm going to... Thank you.
Oh my God, he's pulling it right out.
Right out of his stomach, what the heck?
It's like alien.
Yeah, Joe, we have a new law in New York State as of January. It's not a regulation, though. It can allow the Department of Labor to promulgate a regulation, although they haven't yet.
Okay.
So basically, it's not a health and safety law. It's a consumer protection law. Basically, came out of Hurricane Sandy. A lot of people were getting ripped off. There was a knee-jerk reaction by the legislature. They created this law to protect consumers. So, again, it's not a health and safety act.
Still evolving then?
Well, the law is the law. As far as what the regulation is going to be, don't really know. The state may or may not put one out. They say they're working on it. I guess we'll see it when we see it.
Okay. So when it comes down to like the consensus documents that have kind of been around for some time, some more detail, I guess, on that.
Yeah, I guess, the law indicates that you have to have an assessment if you're going to call it a mold project, and so the assessor has to come up with basically how the work is going to be done. And the regulations don't get into means and methods. I mean, the law doesn't get into means and methods, so what you're left with is referring to things like the IICRC, New York City Department of Health, the EPA document on mold in schools and commercial buildings. Those are all the documents that someone should be referencing when they're putting together a plan.
Okay, so really, that piece really hasn't changed.
No, that piece really hasn't changed. I mean, that was what was being done previously, because those are still the tried and true methods for doing this type of work, and should continue to be. Otherwise, someone is making up their own thing if they're not referencing those documents.
Okay. Follow the documents.
Follow those documents.
Okay. All right. So, basically, my little mini mic here. Rich, when you have a mold project, obviously you're going to hire somebody. What are you looking for? What's the most important thing? How do you differentiate between contractor A and contractor B?
Well, what you're looking for is somebody with a lot of experience in the field. I mean, AAC is
like yourself.
Well,
Not to
yes.
toot your horn, but I'm tooting.
Thank you. AAC has been doing mold projects since 1994.
Okay.
So therefore, we have many, many years in experience, and we have the knowledge to get the project done for you in a good way.
Obviously, all the insurance that covers it, all the things that go along with it.
We're very heavily insured, and you have to carry a mold-specific rider to do mold work to actually be covered.
Okay. So let's just say, Rich, that I'm an owner of a building. I find out that I have a mold project. Just some quick bullet points. What do I do? How do I handle that?
Well, the first thing you do is, as Pete said, is you would have to call in an assessor to come in and assess, a licensed assessor now in New York State to come in and assess the project and tell you basically what to do and how to do it, and they're going to come up with an approximate cost and everything for the project. That is part of the law now. That'd be your first step.
All right, and then step 2, I'm assuming, is probably to contact AAC or a contractor like ourselves.
Yes, that would be your second step, and we'll come in and write the site-specific work plan per the law now and actually come in and do the work. And as far as specifics go, along with the experience that we have, there's many different methodologies depending on where it is that can be utilized to do the work for you, whether it's, a disinfectant to clean the area, or whether it has to be sanded to get it all out, or we actually own our own ice blasting equipment and it can be ice blasted.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Western New York, I think we're the only ones who actually own ice blasting equipment.
I don't know that for a fact, but I know that, I don't think there's many that do, if there is any.
Beautiful. All right. So, I guess when it comes down to mold remediation, we know that there's a law and a regulation. We know that we got to follow consensus docs. We understand like the criteria of who we need to hire, why we need to hire them when you're selecting a contractor. There's a lot of different methods that one can use. Now, what about guys and things like when it comes to like hospitals and such? I mean, that's obviously a pretty that's an area where you don't want to specifically mess with mold, right?
Yeah, I'd be really leery of that. Again, it's a consumer protection law, but there's still liabilities that go along with this.
Sure.
So, if you're going to be doing this type of work, and there's a population that is susceptible to infection, such as those that are immunocompromised, such as people that have had surgery or cancer patients, or you go out down the list. I would be, really careful about how I went about doing that work.
Yeah.
Again, you don't necessarily have to invoke this law if the owner doesn't want to, but as a contractor, I'd be really leery, where this was being done. It's one thing to do this in a warehouse; it's a completely different thing to do it when you have a at-risk population like in a hospital.
Pete, bottom line is the liability doesn't change.
The liability doesn't change regardless of that.
Yeah, so that's all right. Well, that's interesting. Well, I guess, and I think we're going to maybe have some potential handouts and such like that. You guys can look some attachments after this video is completed. I think even some video maybe of some ice blasting and such, just to kind of get you a little bit more education. And I know this is kind of a wide range topic. We also can offer to you, if you'd like, for AAC to come in and do a presentation on the mold regulation in much greater detail than what we covered today. So we're always willing to do that. I guess last but not least, you guys probably saw the sponsor, right? Oscar Mayer.
We were going to have some, but Greg ate it all.
Thanks, Greg.
We had a whole
pound
of bologna.
The word bologna makes it just, it's kryptonite to me.
Bologna.
I don't.
Bologna.
Hot dogs, no. If you had to eat hot dogs or bologna, would it matter? Would you pick? I mean,
Hot dog?
hot dog? What about you?
Carrot dogs.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
But you know what? The hot dog, I'm not a fan. The shape, the color.
Yeah, we've heard about this before.
I don't like it. I'm just saying, I don't like it. I'm glad we covered that. Anyways, for all of you, this has been 2 Minutes with AAC. I'm your host, Joe DiBattista, and for Pete DeLucia and Rich Revalin, we're done. In the words of Veronica Corningstone and Ron Burgundy, thanks for stopping by and stay classy. David Bowie is next. We're going to get him out of the warehouse. Like I said, he works for AAC now. And then we got our outtakes. We'll see you in a few months. Thanks very much. Enjoy.
Don't let me hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Look at that sky, life's begun. Nights are warm and the days are young. There's my baby lost my soul, but I'm begging you save a little.
Those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, we do have a different angle right here on the 2 Minutes with the AC show. The first time, we do have a different angle right here on the 2 Minutes with the AC show. Groovy like a drive-in movie. $200 minutes with AAC. It's a marathon.
Well,
Richie, how are you, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. To deal with the smell of lemons in here.
easier and cleaner.
This is true. Check. Mike, check, check. Mike, check. No, it doesn't work like that. Pete, can I say something real quick? Applause is way too low. It's got to be louder. That's better. Try not to suck. Yeah. Don't embarrass the company. When you do porn stash right there. Wait, turn your. Can't you do something, Greg? What are you just back here? Somebody please take note that all the mess ups, 99% of them have been by Greg. Because my baloney has a first name. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. It's going to be 6 minutes. It's going to be 45 minutes with AAC contracting. Major mutton chops. We're going all the way back to the 70s.
That was a pretty good shot, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I can.
Bet you can't do the next two.